My name is Tamerra Eaton. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I first found out about Barber Boot Camp through social media feeds, Facebook feeds, not Instagram initially, the Facebook feeds. And when I first saw it and I saw some of the testimonials, it piqued my interest because I'm a new cosmetologist with little to no barbering experience, no clipper experience, got little to no clipper experience in cosmetology school. And I knew it was something that I wanted to expand on. So I would see it periodically through my Facebook feeds, and then it piqued my interest enough that I started doing research. But then I kept following you. I kept seeing the testimonials. I kept seeing you showing up at different parts of the country doing your Barber Boot Camp. And then I decided that the next time I saw it come this way, then I was going to take the class. It came January 2022, I believe, and I kept watching it and that it was coming January 22, but I was slow to draw. And then once I decided, let me just go ahead and sign up for the class, and I went to sign up and it was closed. You weren't taking any more attendees. So then that really piqued my interest because I felt like I had missed out. So then I started almost stalking the page. I did. I almost started liking everything I saw so that it would keep coming in my feed, because they said if you like it, it'll keep coming into your feed. So then when I saw it, I sent the email and I did get a response. And then when I saw it come back to Annapolis on this round, I said I was not going to miss out. I didn't have major expectations because this barber world is new to me, okay? And I'm kind of glad that I didn't in that sense. I was expecting to learn. I didn't know what I was going to learn. I really did not, because I'm that green in the barber world. What I didn't expect is that after going through some technical steps, that I would perform a full-on bald fade. Didn't expect that. So what I have to say then is coming in with just expecting to learn, that it exceeded any expectation. There's no way in my imagination what I have thought that by noon, I'm going to say around 2 o'clock day one, the class started at 10. By 2 o'clock day one, I had completed a full-on bald fade, that I was proud to have it posted. That I did not expect. So it has far exceeded any expectation that I could have had. I didn't realize that there were steps. When you see barbers in the barber shop, you just see them working. You just see them working. I don't even recall if I saw clippers or guards or stuff being changed when you see barbers, because they're working. You know what I mean? But coming into the class and learning that it is a system, that for me I knew then I was in the right place, because of the way that I think and the way that I learn, and the way that this was taught in steps, from step 8 to step 1, step whatever. It was something that resonated with me, knowing that I would be able to do this. It really did. That was a game changer for me. And knowing that that it's not a whole lot to it if you learn the technique. What I learned in here is that there's an A, B, and C. And if you learn and solidify the A, B's, and C's, the rest of the alphabet, it's done. So I kind of leaving on day 3 with a confidence that I did not have when I came in on day 1. Not by no means an imagination. Fortunately, and I'm going to say fortunately, because I'm also, I did enough research to know that there was a 2-day or a 3-day package. Once I realized that the 3-day package is almost like the best value, because then you get the online for, I believe it's up to a year. Well, the first day, day 1, it's a lot of information for a person that has little to no barbering experience. So what I was able to do is I went home, decompressed, and then I opened up the online information that was sent. And what it helped is to clarify. It helped me process everything that we have been taught in the class. So it's a valuable addition to the 2-day. It really is. I am so glad that I took the 3-day. I really am, because being able to now understand when you refer to the ball system, You know what I mean? The blade system versus the wall system. It made sense to me to understand. For me, the line of demarcation, that was a game changer. The techniques that I learned with it, but then to go home after the class, because when you're in class, you're a little anxious, a little nervous. You're around people you don't know. You know what I mean? You're meeting new people. You don't know that you come in with an expectation to a point, but you don't want to be so far behind the 8 ball. But the way that this class is presented, everybody is on an even playing field. It really is. It's no more experience, middle ground, or inexperience. Everybody comes in here and is taught on the same even playing field. And then to be able to go home and to apply really and to see it and hear it, the exact same system, it just reinforces it. It clarifies the piece you miss, because you miss stuff. Because you're so excited in the class, and then when you really start to getting it, then your excitement takes over. So you miss things in that excitement, but then you get to go home and sit down and go back through the steps again, and then it's like an aha moment. Then it kept being various aha moments. For me, understanding that there's a blade system and that there's a wall system was I came up with the wall guards. I'd heard about blades, but it was frightening. That from a person that doesn't cut hair, that's not a barber, to think about putting a metal guard on and putting it on somebody's head, it's not frightening anymore. I want to master the blade system, because after this class, I was taught in steps. If you follow this step and this step and this step, this creates your line of demarcation. Then you determine your length. You know what I mean? Then you roll down the rest of the system. You know, the online package is a great add-on. I would highly recommend anyone that can invest in the 3-day system. I don't know a 2-day system because I came in on a 3-day system, and I would highly recommend that. I would highly, highly, highly recommend. And not just for a newbie. I've talked to experienced barbers. I'm a boy mom. So I've been around experienced barbers, and some of the techniques, and I thought they were great, great barbers, and they still are. But some of the techniques that I learned in here, give me 6 months to a year. I put myself right up next to them. Okay. For me, Lou the Barber is an exceptional educator. Everybody can learn their craft and master their craft. This is a second journey for me. I mastered a craft. But it's a whole nother journey when you're able to teach and pass that on and pour into students. One, teaching them in a technical step way so that they can learn the steps, okay? And then the willingness to pour. See, the learning, the paying the fee, and paying for the class, that's a whole nother. But to pour, and that there's an emotional connection to teaching the techniques so that student will be successful. Lou already paid. He didn't have to do that. He could have given the bare basics that you sometimes get, you know what I mean, that you do. And that's not to take away from any other educator. But when you're talking about teaching somebody a craft, you have to have a passion for it. And that is exemplified in everything that Lou does in this class. I'm telling you, he gets excited. He gets excited. He was just as excited as me doing that bald fade as I was. And then once I realized I had gotten it because of his excitement, I knew I should be excited. So I like I said, for me, I'm glad that I researched. I'm glad that it came across my social media feeds. I'm glad that I'm almost glad I missed the January, because then it really piqued me to really, really commit to not missing it again. When I came in this class, I explained to Lou that had I not gotten this when I was coming to Georgia, I was coming to one of the other East Coast. I was trying not to go to the West Coast, but after being in here, if he's teaching something at the West Coast, if he rocking, I'm rolling. Because that's how much I have learned in these 3 days. It's when you're around like minds, you know, that is a common saying now. It wasn't very common 20, 30 years ago when I was in another profession, okay? But now being in an environment of artists, artists that take their artistry and their craftsmanship professionally and take it seriously. You're amongst like minds, and you're amongst minds that want to do well, that want to encourage one another, because we all know that there are times when you're an entrepreneur, it can be a struggle. It can be a struggle. But when you're around like minds, that are people that are experiencing the same things, that have dealt with some of the same things, or have dealt with things you haven't dealt with yet, but can pass on information, it does become a family. It becomes a family for sure. And it was just a really, but I also say that it has a lot to do with Lou, with our educator, because that's the environment that and the energy he sets. Attitude and energy is from the top down. And in a classroom setting, your instructor is the top. That is the hierarchy. So based on the energy that Lou establishes, everybody fits in, everybody becomes family, everybody comes to the cookout after the class. Everybody's invited to the cookout. So I still think that has a lot to do with the way Lou presents the class. One thing he said at the day one to allow a person to breathe was, ask me any question that you have. And I want each of you to understand there's no question that is a dumb question. The only dumb question is a question that's not asked. So any question. That says a lot about the level of patience that he has as an instructor. And like I said, and to be able to express it with patience, because there were repetitive questions. It was just two of us in this class, and I know we asked some of the same things over and over again, and at no time did we feel we couldn't answer for a fourth time or a fifth time, at no time. So I said that all sets the tone from our instructor. Yes, I would refer this. I have already referred this. I have already referred his class. But what I definitely am going to say is that I'm getting very, very comfortable with social media, and my images and who I will be tagging is Lou the Barber. So my work is going to be referral enough, because I definitely feel confident that the images, the styles and cuts and fades and low fades and medium and high fades and ball fades, it's going to be social media worthy. So that within itself is going to be referral. But verbally, I have already referred Lou the Barber and Barber Boot Camp.